Hello, economics students. Welcome to the first day of Unit 2. We'll be talking about supply, demand, and equilibrium in this unit. What I would like to talk about for just a moment is the Unit 1 test. If you scored less than 27 on the test, or 26.5 technically, you are eligible to retake the test for up to 75%, which will be 27 points. So you would need to meet with me to review your test during my office hours as posted on Schoology or by appointment. They must be completed before the next assessment. I will let you know when that is in class. The highest you may earn is 75%. It is not an average of your two test scores. It's not the highest score. It is your second attempt. So just keep that in mind if you would like to reassess. You'll have two handouts for this unit. One of them is the learning targets like we did before, and then we have some practice graphs. There will be online, and then if for hybrid students, paper copies will be available in class. I guess that's obscured in this picture. So introduction to supply and demand. That's what we're going to be looking at today is primarily demand. Learning target 2A. I can explain and graphically illustrates determination of equilibrium prices using the law of demand and the law of supply. I think this one fits particularly well with our current state of affairs, having school and living during a pandemic when people are driving less and there's seems to be a huge demand for toilet paper, at least there was at the beginning, and the demand for gas went down so far that, as you know, the price went down for gas. So I am going to just let you pause and read that if you want to, and let's talk about demand. There are two key words here. Demand is when you are willing and able to pay a specific price for a good or service. So those two key words, willing and able, and then the third one is price. So are you willing and able to buy a Ferrari at that price? Now, I know that I'm not. It's possible that one of you is, maybe you have a big, endowment or something for buying cars, but for most of us, that is not going to be the case. I know for me, I will not be having a demand for a Ferrari. Now, I did recently buy a Subaru, as I've mentioned in class, that was all-wheel drive, and it's very practical, and it definitely didn't start at $250,000. The demand for a Ferrari is going to be low, although there is a demand, and there are people that can afford those cars. So just to emphasize, now the law of demand states, and this is important to remember, and again, pause as often as you need to take notes, to draw graphs, whatever you need to do. The higher the price, so as P up arrow goes, the lower down arrow, the quantity demanded. So the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. And you can look at this with anything. Let's say movie tickets, okay? So if movie tickets were $5, okay, the quantity demanded right here would be pretty high, $5, okay, and the quantity demanded is high. But let's say a movie ticket jumps up to $25, then our quantity demanded over here is going to be much lower. So keep in mind that the demand curve is downward and sloping to the right. Supply is the total amount of a specific good or service available to consumers. Profit is a motivating incentive. So I bet you can guess which direction the supply curve goes. Back some years ago, there was this ridiculously looking animal called a Furby. And these were like $35 because for some reason, so many people wanted them. And I never understood it because honestly, they kind of freak me out. You're not going to pay for that much for one of them right now. But it is a motivating incentive for companies to make more if they can get more people to buy them. So in 1998, 1.8 million were sold. In 1999, 14 million sold. By 2000, over 40 million were sold. It's hard to imagine that many people buying a Furby. Okay, so the law of supply is pretty much just the direct opposite of the law of demand. The higher the price, the higher the quantity supplied. in other words, it's not that they're going to make that money, but it's kind of like, or that many, but it's kind of like the higher the quantity supplied that a company is willing to make. So if, let's say, the Furby was $5 and the quantity would be at Q1, but let's say the Furby price, they can get $35 for them, well, then the quantity that they're willing to supply will go up to Q3. So the supply curve is upward sloping from left to right. So what is equilibrium then? Equilibrium is where the supply curve and the demand curve intersect, point P and point Q. At this point, it's believed that everyone is satisfied with the current economic condition, and so we will have a equilibrium. The supply that producers are willing to make and the demand that people have based on this price are at a point where everyone's in agreement. It's pretty cool, actually, how the market just works out that way. If a company notices that they are not selling a product at a particular price point, they will lower that price point until the demand meets the supply. So you're going to view the Hudsucker Proxy video clip. And so what is the original price for hula hoops? What is the original demand for hula hoops? What is the lowest price for hula hoops? And I'm actually going to connect this video into the folder for Unit 2, and your ABA is to answer that question. What's next? Complete Learning Targets 2A and 2C. And when I have the due date there, I'm not actually collecting it at that time, but I recommend that you have those done by that date. And then for Tuesday, the ABA will be an ed puzzle for law of demand. And that is basically watching a video and completing some questions, and that will be in Tuesday's folder. All right, thank you very much. And take some time, watch that video, and answer your ABA.